Hi folks, welcome to the Prepared Homestead. This is Travis. Thank you all for stopping by to watch. So have all of you doomsdayers and conspiracy theorists had enough time to kind of catch your breath and to pull yourself together after the crazy week that there has been in the news? Between Hunter Biden and missing subs and a coup attempt at Russia and a bridge filled with tanks of chemicals on a train just falling into the Yellowstone River. All of these things that's happened, and many, many more. Have you had a chance to kind of regroup and bring it down to a manageable level? It's been a crazy week, and I'm sure that there's going to be much more armchair quarterbacking, figuring out what happened, what went on, a lot. And I'm here to tell you that we'll probably never fully know what's going on, other than that there's things going on. There's stuff happening. Usually when there's a lot of chatter, a lot of flack, it indicates that there's something happening. We may not know what, but it's a pretty good indicator that things are moving further down the field. So just in that sense, to me it's enough to kind of increase your seriousness. I saw in the news this morning, the Wall Street Journal is saying that the American intelligence community, they knew about this Russia coup attempt for 2 weeks now. They already knew about it. It's funny how the FBI and the CIA and all of the alphabet soup people, they always know about stuff. At least they let us know that they knew about something after it happened. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, that mass murderer. Yeah, we've been keeping an eye on him for a couple of weeks now. I don't know if they do it to kind of, in their little ways, to let us know that, well, we say we knew about it because we were the one orchestrating it, or if it's like some kind of fifth grade playground kind of thing of well I knew that, to try to keep their relevance. I don't know, maybe. Today is our local meeting, so this is the only content you're going to see from me all day on all the different platforms that I post on, because we have a big exciting day, a couple of really amazing speakers that are talking. It's always a fun-filled day, and getting ready to get that kicked off here soon. But folks, in case you have been asleep for a week, like I said, it's, we may not know exactly what's happening. And I'm not going to sit here and try to, blow smoke, where, to try to make you think that I know what's going on, or that I've got it figured out, or that my little theory of what's happening is the one that's correct. No one knows. Well, not anyone that's probably going to talk on YouTube. But like I said, we know that things are moving, and I suspect while all this stuff is happening, there's been all kinds of other goings on that were not in the news that pushed us further down the road. The whole digital currency stuff this week, there was a lot of little whispers in the crypto and CBDC world. So I suspect that's moving at a pretty rapid pace. Personally, I think all that happened with Russia is that Putin kind of reaffirmed who's in power, and probably has just gained more authority, more power. And this is an if it is determined that a lot of this was instigated by, say, CIA or anything like that, that could definitely cause things to kind of expand on the war front, because, hey, Russia would look at it that we were attempting to remove Putin, so that wouldn't go over very well. All in all, these kind of things happen. It's a cycle, It may be like this for another week or so, and then it may be just quiet, nothing to talk about. We have those withdrawals of intense excitement. We want more, because we just need to reaffirm and confirm to ourselves that we are living in a collapse. We got to get past that, because that's part of their little manipulation of us. That's part of that psychological manipulation, is to keep us addicted to all of these things happening. And we've got to certainly be aware of it, certainly take that information and use it to our good, so that we know that, hey, things are moving along. We may, have less time than we thought. It's time to get ready, things like that. But yet also not become so absorbed with it that it really paralyzes us. Because that's what happens a lot of times. We become so focused on this stuff that we become paralyzed. We need to be focusing, like I say in every video, of getting ourselves and our houses in order. Our families, our communities, going over with our families our plan, figuring out what our little weak spots, the weak links that we have within our prepping plan. If there's things we need to add, things we need to do, skills we need to develop. Our community is the same way. You need to be working on communication plans. Does your group have designated radio frequencies? What I call 911 frequencies. That on different radio bands, these are the frequencies that we will be on. So that if something happens and normal communications are down, this is a way that you can communicate. Of course, it's not secure. We all should know that. But it's at least a way to communicate. You have rendezvous points that you can establish within your community that, hey, if we can't communicate, this particular place we'll meet at once a week at this time, and talk and discuss and move on from there. Do you have a plan on, if you need to evacuate, where are you going to go? If you can't go to the store anymore, if things get shut down, electricity, your water source gets cut off, you turn the faucet on, it don't work. What's your plan? Can't go to the gas station and fuel up. What's your plan? You have all them fancy generators and you can't get fuel for them. What's your plan? You have all these animals that you're going to survive off of, and then you can't get feed for them. What's your plan? Think about this kind of stuff. It's just you and your family living way off in the woods, got it all figured out. How are you going to defend that? What's your plan? You need to be thinking about these things. I understand that the worst case scenario is probably the least likely thing to happen. But I look at it a couple of different ways. If I plan and prepare myself, my family, my community the best that I can for a worst case scenario, for the absolute worst, then I am prepared for things that are lesser than that. Then we're good to go. Also have to think about the possibility that worst case scenario could actually happen. If you read in the Bible and it talks about the end times, how it's going to be, if we find ourselves, in fact, that we are living in those end times, brothers and sisters, it's going to be bad. It's going to be really, really bad. We've already seen a lot of really bad stuff, but it could get so much worse. History has shown us that. So many different nations throughout history that's collapsed don't do very well. And I think it's going to be worse with us because we live in a society that's so hyper-dependent upon all of these systems to function. So few people anymore are self-sufficient. There's so few people are capable of doing for themselves, of existing without being on the umbilical cord of the government or the utility companies or the supply chains. Just few people can. And so because of that, a collapse is going to be much more worse, even if it's not as big of a collapse as, say, the Weimar Republic or Venezuela. But if it is that kind of catastrophe, it's going to be epically bad. And we're already seeing signs of it. Just our whole society just seems to be coming unraveled. The things that we're seeing happen, the discontent, the anger, the animosity, just amongst the society, it's getting pretty crazy. And so I don't think it's doomsday. I don't think it's fear porn. I don't think it's any of that stuff. I think it's being smart, logical, rational, and prepared, of seeing how things are and doing the very best that we can to get prepared. It doesn't mean that you're going to be able to ride it out with any harm. I mean, we're all at different levels. We have different resources. And so we're going to be at different levels of preparedness. But based on what I've seen and know, any of you that take any legitimate effort to become more prepared, you're going to be so much more vastly ready than the rest of the world. Because most of the rest of the world, especially Americans, they're not really getting ready at all. They're completely asleep, oblivious to how things are going. I guarantee you there's a lot of Americans that have no clue what happened with Russia. The mainstream news wasn't talking about it. They don't know. They have no clue. And anything that they do know is what the mainstream news tells them. So whatever effort you put into it, it's kind of like an insurance policy. You're going to be way better off than anyone else. So, you know, regardless if this past week has shown us that it's on the verge of happening, it's on the cusp, we're about ready to collapse, or if it's much further down the road, we know things are getting worse, we know things are getting crazy, and it would behoove you to get yourselves ready. You would be foolish to not. So continue doing that, getting your houses in order, your family's ready, yourselves mentally ready, getting your families trained up, prepped up, working on your community, your connections, your family, your tribe, getting them ready, figuring out a game plan, because we may not be that far away from just everything just falling out from underneath us. Folks, it's time to get your houses in order. You know the drill. Get ready mentally, physically, and spiritually. Thank you for watching, and I'll catch you in the next video.